Hi fashion lovers, you're welcome to another interesting video. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you the video on how to sew this jumpsuit. In the previous video, we learned how to draft it, and this is going to be a detailed sewing tutorial of this jumpsuit. So if you have not seen the video on how to draft it, you can do well to watch that before proceeding to this video, because this video is going to be a detailed sewing of this jumpsuit. So if it is something you want to learn, you need to keep watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you find this video very interesting. Let's get started. To get started, these are my pattern. As you can see, this is the back part. So you want to go ahead and cut it out in one pieces. Add your necessary sewing allowance. And this is the second part of the back. The zipper already have allowance. You just need to add ½ inch allowance, and on the side seam you add your side seam sewing allowance. And this is the front. You want to also go ahead and add your necessary sewing allowance, and also on the side seam your side seam sewing allowance. And this is the sleeve pattern. I'm going to cut out 2 pieces of it, then remove one part, and then cut out the off shoulder part. Then you want to go ahead and add ½ inch sewing allowance all around. And this is the trouser. So for the trouser part, you're going to be adding ½ inch on the inseam side, and then on the side seam you will add 1 inch. So this is the inseam side. Did you see? This part is the inseam side. You're going to be adding ½ inch to it for both the front and the back. And then for the side seam, you're going to be adding 1 inch. So for the side that the zipper is going to be, you can add 1 inch on that part. Just on that part the zipper is going to be. So the inseam is ½ inch, while the side seam is 1 inch. So I've gone ahead to add all my necessary sewing allowance on both the back and the front, as you can see. Did you see that? So this is the trouser pattern, as you can see. For the back part, because the zipper is going to be on the back part, so I measured from the waistline to 8 inches. Did you see? And I added 1 inch there. That 1 inch is serving as my zipper allowance, and I proceed to add ½ inch on the other side of the inseam finishing, but on the side seam I added 1 inch. I hope you got what I explained. Also on the inseam for the front, I added ½ inch, but on the side seam I added 1 inch. So I'll go ahead and sew the inseam for the front now. And for the back, I'm going to sew the inseam, but I'm going to leave the part where the zipper is going to be. Then the next thing is for me to cut out the pocket. So I have a piece of paper that is around 9 inches by 8 inches. So I'll just come down by 7 inches and go inward by 1 inch. Did you see what I'm doing? And then I'll try to put my hand to make a curve for my pocket. So this is actually easy to do. From the tip of the paper, come down by 7 inches. Did you see? And go inward by 1 inch. And from that point, put your hand and get a curve of how you want your pocket to be. So you can decide to do any design of pocket that you want, but for the purpose of this tutorial, this is what I'm going to be using as my pocket. Did you see that? From the tip of the paper, I came down by 7 and then went inward by 1 inch, and then put my hand and got a curve. So I'm going to be cutting this out in 4 pieces for the trouser. So I've gone ahead to sew the inseam of the trouser. This is the front part, you can see, and this is the back part. You can see I left a zipper side, the zipper allowance side for the back. So you want to, and this is for the front now. So you can see I've cut out the pocket and I've added ½ inch all around the pocket, and I cut out 4 pieces for the pocket. So you want to go ahead and open up the pocket like this. Did you see that? So from the waistline, come down by 2 inches, because that is where I want the pocket to be. And then you want to arrange your pocket. So this is how your pocket is going to be. Did you see that? So you're going to place it right side of the pocket will face the right side of the main fabric. Did you see? Right side of the pocket will face the right side of the main fabric of the trouser now, and then you want to go ahead and sew by 1/2 inch. Remember, from the waist I came down by 2 inches to place this pocket, and I'm also going to do the same for the other side. You want to come down by 2 inches and place your pocket. Make sure the right side of the pocket faces the right side of the fabric, and then go and sew by the sewing allowance you have. You can see I've done that for the back also, just the same way I did for the front. I also did that for the back. So this is my front now. I will go ahead and sew all my darts for both the front and the back part. Did you see? I'll go ahead and sew the darts intake, and as you can see, I've done that. So this is the back part. I've also sewn the dart for the back part and the front as well. So this is my trouser now, the back part. Did you see? So I'm going to be placing the front, the upper part to the back part. You can see I'm trying to place it so that I'll be able to get the line where I'm going to pull my dart. You can see that the upper part is shorter than the front, because it's shorter than the trouser part, because we have not sewn the dart on the trouser part. So you can see it's 1 inch longer than the upper bodies because we have not sewn the dart. So I'm trying to use the upper parts now to get where my dart for the trouser is going to be. So after I've gotten that part, I'll sew my dart and then go ahead and join the upper part to the down part. So for the front part as well, I'm going to bring it and check where my dart is going to be. This is going to help me so that the line of the dart on the trouser will match with the upper part. So I'll go ahead and sew the darts on the trouser and then go ahead and join the upper part to the front, the down part now. And I've done that for both the front and the back. You can see I've sewn the dart on the trouser. I have also joined the upper parts to the down part. So go ahead and sew the shoulder, then match the side seam like this. Make sure everywhere matches together, the waistline matches together. Then you want to go ahead and sew the upper part through the pocket and then sew to the down part. This is very easy and simple. So this is like the simplest trouser pocket you can make. So it's very easy. So this side is the asymmetric side. You want to go ahead from the armhole and then sew through the pocket and then sew down by the 1 inch sewing allowance you have added. So when you are done, this is what you are going to have. Did you see? This is what I have after I was done. So you want to open the inseam part of the trouser. We added 1/2 inch on the inseam, so you want to open it up. You can see I've sewn everywhere by the 1 inch I've added. So I will mash up the front and the back part of the trouser, and then I'll go ahead and sew the down part. They'll sew it to the down part now. Did you see? I'm going to sew by the 1/2 inch I've added to the down part. So when I'm done, this is what I have. Did you see? This is what I have after I was done sewing. So you want to also go ahead and hem the hemming part with the sewing allowance you have added on the hemming part. You want to go ahead and hem it. So the next thing is to add my zipper allowance on the center back. You want to go ahead and add your zipper to the zipper allowance on the center back. So I've gone ahead to do that. As you can see, I added invisible zipper to it. You can see I added an invisible zipper to it. Did you see? When you open it, this is what you have. Then you go ahead and close it back, as you can see. So the next thing is to work on my sleeve. Did you see that? So this is my sleeve now. Did you see? So I'll go ahead and remove one of the sleeve. One of the sleeve is going to have a shoulder, while the other is going to be off shoulder. So I will remove the part that is the shoulder, that has the shoulder, and then I'll go ahead and cut the part that will be on the off shoulder. So as you are cutting, you are adding ½ inch for the sewing allowance as you are cutting it out. So when you are done cutting, this is what you are going to have. So the next thing is to get a like a band and pleat it. Unfortunately, my video cut off this part, so I'm going to tell you what I did. So what I did is that I cut out a band that is about 40 inches by length, and then the width is 5 inches, and I folded it. On the center of it, I got my round wrist measurement, which is 8 inches, and then I pleated my sleeve on that 8 inches. Did you see? So that pleated side is around my wrist, so I pleated it, and I have like extra like 16 inches on both sides for the band, and then I'll go ahead and curve out the mouth of the band. Did you see? So sorry, my camera cut off the part that I did this. So I pleated and on the center of the band is about 5 inches. When you fold it, you're going to have 2.5 half inches is for the sewing allowance, then the 2 inches is for the main band height. So did you see? I pleated on it. Did you see? And you can see I made a shock around that point where my round wrist ends. So from one point, or from one end of the round wrist to the other end of the round wrist, I made a shock around that point. Did you see? And as I was pleating the sleeve on it, I left like 1 inch for the sewing of the sleeve. Did you see? For the sewing or joining of the sleeve, I didn't pleat everything, so that is why I'm trying to like show you what I did. Sorry about that. So the next thing now is to go ahead and sew the band. Did you see? So you want to take one part of the band. Did you see? Like this on one end, and then you make a notch like this. So you make a notch like this. Did you see what I did? Make a notch around that point. So you're going to turn it to the wrong side and sew the band, like sew the band. So this is actually very easy to do. You want to turn it to the wrong side and sew the band. So you turn it, you flip it to the wrong side now. Did you see what I'm doing? It's very easy. And then you want to go ahead and sew it to the end of the band. For the other side as well, you also want to like notch around that point. Raise your sewing allowance and then notch around that point. Flip it to the other side, to the wrong side now, and then go ahead and sew by ½ an inch, and you sew to the end of the sleeve of the band. So when you are done, this is what you are going to have. Did you see? I've turned one side of the band. Did you see? So I'm going to also turn the other side of the band. So I'm using a like the inner of my biro, and then I will just turn this to the right side. So I've turned the other side. I'm showing you how to turn the other one. So you want to, bring it out and then turn it to the other side. So when you are done, this is what you are going to have. Did you see? Did you see what you have? You can sew to the end if you think is not up to the end. Did you see what I have? So the pleated side, around that side that I pleated, is my round wrist measurement, which is 8 inches. So the next thing is to sew, but before that, we are going to be leaving the opening. so that if we don't leave that opening, we will not be able to wear our dress. So I will leave an opening of about 3.5 inches. Did you see? I will leave an opening of about 3.5 inches, and from that point that I marked 3.5 inches, I will go ahead and sew the sleeve up to the armhole side. Did you see? I'm gonna sew from that opening I made 3.5 inches, and I'm gonna sew to the armhole side. So the opening now, I'll go ahead and fold it in. Did you see? Fold the first time and then fold the second time. So this is what I have. So the opening, this is the opening, right? So you want to go ahead and close up the around the opening side. You do it for the two sides of the sleeve opening. Did you see? And then you sew. And when you are done, this is what you are going to have. Did you see? I've sewn that part. Did you see? You can flip it to the right side now. So the next thing is to attach it to the men's sleeve, to the men the men dress. You want to attach to the men dress. So this is my jumpsuit. I've gone ahead to attach the other sleeve, which has the shoulder parts now. Did you see? I've gone ahead to attach just the way I did for this sleeve is what I did for the other side. So, and I'm going to be attaching this one that has the off shoulder part. So you want to grab one side of the sleeve and then match it, on one side of the armhole like this. Did you see? Grab one side of the sleeve and match it to one end of the armhole. I'll go ahead and use my pin and hold it down. That is one part of the sleeve, the armhole of the sleeve. Match it to the armhole of the dress, and also do the same for the other side. So when you are done, this is what you have. When you are done matching it up, this is what you are gonna have. Did you see that? So the next thing is that I'm going to be using a bias tape to finish the neckline and the sleeve region. So I'll just go ahead, use my bias tape and finish the neckline region and the sleeve head. You can see I'm finished around that point. Did you see? I'll go ahead and use a bias tape and finish around this point. Did you see? You sew around, did you see, till you get to the other point. So when I was done, this is what I have. It came out so nice, so beautiful. So thank you guys for watching, and if you have a question, don't forget to drop it on the comment section. Don't forget to share this video and give this video a big thumbs up if you have learned one or two things. Thank you, and see you in my next tutorial. Bye bye.